Okay, I'm trying to remember exactly where I left off, and I don't remember, so I'm just trying to guess here. So I'm just gonna get to like another like major point in our relationship that stands out when telling what happened. And that would be like when he decided that it was the appropriate time to talk with his family about our relationship. Um, Now obviously he didn't, have asked for a family meeting and have the entire family come around so he could, profess his love to me or something. Um, but he had contacted a few family members that he was close with at different times, and then he also had to talk with a couple family members that you know um he had to address this too. Because, I mean, like, to be honest with you, I mean, they already knew we were seeing each other, and before he talked to them about it. I'm not that naive to not think that they hadn't, from the get go, like, done check after criminal check after security check on me, simply because, I mean, he has security, so, because of his high profileness and other reasons. So, I mean, I'm sure they were, reporting back to his family and being like, oh, there's this girl that he's spending a lot of time with. Oh, who's that? Okay, let's start looking into her life. I knew that that was going to happen. And it didn't bother me, but it's just kind of weird, right? I mean, because when you think about it, like, when you are in a relationship with a guy for the first time and you start getting to know him on the level where family gets introduced, it's always like an awkward situation. It's pretty nerve wracking. It's, you get really anxious about it. You want to give off the best first impression that you possibly can, and you want to walk away from it with a positive, like with positivity, right? And so, if off the bat, already they're not going to like you, okay? Because there's so many aspects of your life that it's just not going to fly with them. And the fact that they've looked into every area of your life and tried to find things that they could probe to be able to be like, oh, this is wrong with you, and you'll need to change this about yourself, and you'll need to do this and that and the other. I mean, that's extra nerve wracking. So, I mean, it was for me. I mean, I knew from the very beginning that's the way it was going to be. I wasn't naive to it, and he never let me believe anything less than that. But still, I mean, it's a weird situation for everybody involved. And they have like certain, you know, qualities that they're looking for, and certain, aspects that they want upheld. They just want like a certain perfect person, in their family. They're very picky. And I wasn't going to ever be that. And I knew it, and he knew it. But I mean, like I said, things happen. So a few people in his family were really cool about it. They didn't really have much to say. Now, I'm not sure if that's because they just didn't want to get on his bad side to be like, oh well, this probably isn't going to last that long, so why, create some big negative situation with him? Just let him ride it out. It'll be over with soon. I don't know if it was that or they really were just good people that cared about his happiness above all other things. But they seemed fine. That's all I know. Then there was a few other people in his family that were not okay with it. And they were very rude. And they were very forceful about what they wanted. And it was just like, no, this girl, no. There's a million reasons why. No. And of course, he pushed back, like, yes, yes, you're not going to tell me what to do. Yes, get off my back. It's either going to be okay with you or it's not. But if it's not, that's your loss, not mine. So I think they were like, okay, this is a game we have to play. Now, the way they've played the game is a little questionable to me. Because I wouldn't say it's necessarily like gritting their teeth and being like as nice as they possibly can to me. It's not like the normal, like weird, awkward family Christmas by any means. Um, and I haven't met most of these people, and I don't really care to. It's let me get on with the situation, okay? So, we're seeing each other, everything's great, and I was sick one night. really sick. I had like a stomachy thing going on, like a virus. He had come to visit me for a few days, and I was laying in bed, just so sick feeling. And I said I wanted some popsicles or like something kind of frozen, like, light on the stomach, but I was so hungry, but I didn't want to eat an actual meal. So he said he was going to get me some gelato from the corner store. So I'm laying in bed. He goes and picks me up some strawberry gelato, brings it back to me. He gets in bed with me, and we decided that we were just going to lay there for the night, chill. We picked out a documentary we wanted to watch, and it was just going to be a night where we relaxed. I wasn't going to do anything except lay there until I felt better. Everybody was cool with that. Now, he has security. Now, it's not like insane levels, unless he's out somewhere, for like public events and stuff like that. Then they beef it up a little bit. But just when it's like, us hanging around, there's just a few people, and they're not like in the room with us or anything, but they're around, in case his security would be compromised. So we're laying in bed. We start watching the documentary. We were about like a half hour into this thing, and I don't remember anything after that. Now, we're talking about two people who are night owls, who have like serious energy. I have a really hard time sleeping at night. I don't go to bed till super late, and then when I do, I'm not a sound sleeper at all. Like, I'm getting up a couple times to go to the bathroom. I'm getting up, to get something to drink. I hear something. I'm going to check it out. I have some other situations in my life where, I get up and check on some other stuff. And it's like, okay, never sleep through the night fully for any reason. I can't even remember the last time I did. So the next thing I remember, I am in my bed. I'm completely naked. Completely. He's smacking me in the face and shaking my face back and forth and being like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, what's going on, what's going on? And he's shaking me. It's the next day. We had slept for hours. Hours. I don't even remember going to sleep. I just kind of remember the last bit of what I had watched, which when I looked back at it was about a half hour into the documentary. I'm like, what is wrong? What? I'm freaking out. Where are my clothes? He was naked, right? I'm thinking, what the hell? And so he's like, what is wrong? What is wrong? I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And he's like, I've been smacking you and shaking you for about 15 minutes now. I was about to call 911. I don't know what's going on. I felt your pulse. I felt fine, but you're like not waking up. It's so weird. Are you okay? Are you alright? And I think he thought like, wow, she must really have a virus. Maybe she's really sick and I need to take her to the hospital. And I'm like, what's going on? And I didn't understand anything. And I'm like, where are my clothes? And he's like, I don't know. And then he started looking and they were like across the room, folded on the one table. I'm like, where? He went to bed. When he got in bed, he was just wearing his underwear, but even they were gone. And I'm like thinking, did we like get up in the middle of the night and like have sex? Or like, and why would we do that and then not remember it? Like, what is going on? Nobody had any drinks, nothing. It was just gelato, documentary, and complete pass out, wake up naked. Really strange. So, okay. I was still really drowsy feeling, and he said that he felt like his energy was completely drained. I'm like, well, what time did you get up? And he's like, I just got up like a few minutes before I started trying to wake you up. Like, I slept the whole night. I'm like, isn't that kind of weird? Like, you usually get up early in the morning and run and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, I just feel so exhausted. And I literally felt so drained. I had to go run an errand that was very important because the due date happened to be that date. So I ran to go run the errand, and then I was going to come back and lay down. I called off work for the next day, and like when I was in the car, I literally was passing out on and off. Like I was like narcoleptic. Like I'm sitting there 1 minute talking, and then I'm like, out. And he's like, what is going on? He's like, you must really be sick. So I looked down at my hand, and on my right hand, like right there, like, at the top of the hand, there was like my vein is like swollen because it hurt. It kind of hurt now, so I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the hell? There's like a little mark, like a puncture wound, like right at the vein, and it hurts really bad. And then there's like this bruise around it, and it looked and felt just like how it looks and feels like if you had to go to the hospital and get an IV in, and how sore and bruised it looks afterwards. Exactly how it looked. Okay, our two like low energy issues combined, waking up naked, waking the way I did, having to be shooken like I was literally under some like drug induced coma, that he literally was like, what is going on, you know? And he's like, nothing could have gone on. Like, security's there. Like, they're not going to let somebody in there and, like, drug you. And, like, when was it anybody drugged us anyways? I mean, because literally we were laying in bed and then I just didn't remember anything. So we went through like the rest of the day. I was super tired. I fell asleep like a bunch of times. I took a nap on the couch. I took a nap in the bedroom. I said, I'm gonna go lay down for like an hour. Can you wake me up in like an hour? And he'd be like, yeah. And then he would go to sleep too because he was super tired. He's like high energy, like super high energy. And so when I woke up that last time I took a nap, I started like remembering little bits and pieces of like something, and I didn't really even know what it was necessarily because I wasn't sure if it was like a bad dream I had had earlier, or whether I was just losing my damn mind. But I had this dream, okay, that I was in our bed, like exactly the way that we had gone to bed, and he was laying there with he was face down in the bed, and he was completely naked, and I was completely naked. And somebody was dragging me off the bed by my ankles. And I was screaming, and I was fighting, and I was kicking and scratching. And then I grabbed on to his leg and was screaming, his name and saying, please, please, like, don't let them do this. And like, why aren't you listening to me? And why aren't you saying anything? Please, are you okay? And I was like saying this. And then I'm like scratching and like kicking at this person who's grabbing me by my ankles and trying to drag me off the bed. And I literally was holding on to his legs for dear life. He wasn't moving, he wasn't reacting. He was completely passed out like somebody had drugged him. And I'm just screaming his name and saying, please help me, don't let them do this to me. Why aren't you doing anything? And like he was just done, right? Because he would never let anybody do anything to me. If somebody ever touched me in a weird way, they would get their head pounded in because he's not afraid to throw a punch at somebody. I watched him do it. So that's all I remember. I looked at my legs. I didn't see any bruises around my ankle or my calves, nothing. And I said that to him. And he's like, that couldn't have happened, baby, because, like I have a security here. They would never let somebody in to harm us. Like, you must be just thinking that happened, or maybe you had a dream about it. I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm like extremely tired. You're extremely tired. I have this mark on my freaking hand that cannot be accounted for. Like, what is happening? And so he finally was just like, you know what? I'm going to take you to the hospital and we're going to see what's going on. Maybe you're really dehydrated and you just need fluids or something. So he went to talk to his security and be like, listen, this is what she thinks went on last night. I don't know what's going on. I'm a little skeptical of the situation because she does have a mark on her hand and we're both acting extremely strange and it's really weird. His security was like dead set on them not taking me to the hospital. Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's just not possible for you to do with her. No, you can't do that. We're going to contact and they're like, yeah, they were going to contact, I don't know who exactly it was, but it was like their contacts over there in London, and they were going to get in touch with the people that they knew here at the one public relations department, who is then going to put them in contact with a doctor that they felt was okay, and then that doctor would come over here and check me out. Okay, so then I'm like, what the hell? Because this is normal for me. I'm like, if I'm sick, I go to the hospital. So I'm waiting. About an hour later, they said that the doctor couldn't come over, but that we could go to his office, and he was going to check me out. So we go to the doctor's office, and, I told him everything that happened. I showed him my hand. He said, I told him I woke up, naked. Well, right off the bat, he's just like, told him how tired I was, everything. He checked me over, did all the normal stuff, listened to heart, looked at my eyes, all this stuff. He asked if he could do a drug panel on me, if I would allow. I said, yeah, 'cause I don't really do drugs. I mean, I drink, like, occasionally, like, socially, but I haven't even had a drink in, like, 48 hours. So, I mean, you're not going to find anything in my system. So he ran a drug panel on me. It came back that I had the date rape drug in my system. He said it was called rohypnol, and it was large amounts. So then he wanted to do a rape exam on me, since I had woken up naked as well. He took some cultures, which he said he had to send to the lab, but then he, did the exam, and he said that I didn't have any bruising or tearing or any type of, injuries that would show that there was some type of force, to my body. So that was good. But he was kind of like looking at him. I mean, he wasn't coming out like saying it, but you could see like he's like looking at him like, okay, dude, like what are you up to? And I know my boyfriend picked up on this because he just flat out was like, I hope you don't think I did anything to her. I would never do anything to her. Why would I give her a date rape drug? She was sick last night. We were laying in bed. I don't have to rape her. So I mean, whatever. Like, I don't understand what's going on and how somebody could have gotten a needle in her arm and how could they have gotten past my security, all this stuff. So then he says, can I, do a drug panel on you? And he was like, yeah, he's like, you're going to find a couple things in my system. Like, it wasn't a couple things. I mean, like, he smokes weed, whatever, we both do, really, to be honest with you. But I just hadn't smoked in a while. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to test positive for marijuana. But other than that, I shouldn't have anything else in my system. And, he ran the drug panel on him. Also, same drug in his system. So we know at this point, okay, that security is watching the place. So it's secured, okay? But somehow, somebody was able to come into the loft, drug us without any memory of it. For what reason, I don't know. Didn't rape me. Dragged me off the bed while I was kicking and screaming. Drugged him so that he couldn't help me. And that's all we remember. So what you're saying is either somebody is like hardcore able to do the craziest thing and compromise security and get into a room without security knowing it, or security let them in the door, knew they were coming, and was okay with what was happening. Which is more plausible to me because of the fact that, I mean, how could you have gotten in? You could only have gotten in through the door, okay? And the door was being secured by security. So security had to be okay with the fact that somebody came in and drugged us, which means that it was somebody that obviously worked for his family who employed them. And I still to this day, no clue why they did that. I don't know what they did. I don't know why they did it. I don't know how they did it. Because you would think, okay, well, you have to put the drug in my system, right? And you have to put the drug in his system. How did you do that? And how did you do it without us remembering it? Because we wouldn't have gone out till after the drug hit our system. So how did you get that in my system and in his system without us remembering any of it? And us allowing them to do it. I still haven't figured it out to this day. And what happened, I don't know. He was laying face down in bed naked. I still don't know where our clothes were. If I was in rape, I still don't even know. I have no clue. But I do know that his family obviously asked somebody to come into the room, drug us, and do whatever it is they did. I don't even know why, what, how. And this was the beginning of a very strange, just many really strange red flag incidences within our relationship. This is just the beginning, and I'm going to get more into this as we go on, but that right there is number one, and you will see just how crazy it gets as I continue on.